another mother who may have endangered her daughter by bringing sex offenders into that child's life. That 5-year-old child, little Nevaeh, is now dead tonight. Remnants of a fire, a partially burned latex surgical glove, a cigarette butt, a beer can, all critical pieces of evidence that could lead cops to the cretin who killed 5-year-old Nevaeh Buchanan. Back with my panel. Phone lines lighting up. Susan, Missouri, your question or thought, ma'am?
My prayers and thoughts go out to this family, but I find it highly suspicious that a killer that's going to encase a child's body in cement would leave his DNA behind. I think maybe he could have planted the cigarette butt and the beer can from anywhere, that he could have got out of a trash can or whatever.
Well, you should be a defense attorney, because that's exactly what the defense attorneys say.
And I'll object.
Yeah. Who's objecting? J.D. Weintraub?
Of course.
All right. Well, I think that's what the defense attorneys say whenever the DNA matches up. Oh, well, it was a conspiracy, and they took my DNA and they brought it to the scene. You know, Jennifer Buchanan, Nevaeh's mom, had a close relationship with convicted sex offender George Kennedy. Here's what she said right after her child disappeared.
I feel that it really doesn't matter. Not all offenders reoffend. No one ever knows if a person is a sex offender or not unless they are labeled.
Right.
Anybody could be a sex offender.
Then she finally changed her tune this past Monday.
I'm pretty sure that probably someone associated with George or his girlfriend or a few other, I don't know.
So she finally comes to her senses, Curtis Lewa, after initially defending this person of interest in the case who was, some say, her former boyfriend.
What was this, the Stockholm Syndrome? She felt like she was indebted to this guy just because they had the urge to merge at the parole office. This is absolutely nuts. What she exposed her daughter to, and it took like a full week for her to have an epiphany, a stigmata, and realize, hey, it may be this guy, it may be his girlfriend, it may be some of their associates.
Maybe she thought she was going to get arrested. Don't you think she feels bad enough? But isn't it a wake-up call to parents? I mean, that's what the message should be here. Instead of convicting her and annihilating her already, we should be delivering the message as responsible people that it isn't the way it used to be.
Well, the message, no. Sex offenders have always been dangerous. The fact is that she is the cautionary tale.
But you could ride your bike when you were 5 outside.
She is the poster child for what not to do as a parent. Don't let your kid play outside unsupervised.
That's right.
Don't let sex offenders into your life. She said, you know, people deserve a second chance. And that's not how you give a second chance to anyone. I mean, if these two guys have nothing to do with this case at all, and they simply showed bad judgment, being in parole and getting involved with this mother of the child, she's ruined their lives too. They're going away for respectively 13 years and possibly 35 years more in jail for the
Absolutely,
stupidity.
Jay, but what I was saying,
Well, that's their own doing, though, Jay.
right.
Too bad
What I
for
was
them.
trying to
That's
say is
their
that
own. They
parents
shouldn't
have
be
to be more
children.
vigilant. Parents need to be watching their
Be in jail
kids
for
more,
that long.
and parents can't just let the kids
That's
outside.
abuse of common
David
sense.
Schwartz, you're the former prosecutor.
Okay.
Take it.
Well, no, obviously parents have to show common sense on who they allow to hang out with their children. Certainly, they are responsible for their own actions. They're going to jail for 13 years and 12 years because of their own actions, because they're of their own violation of the parole. The question is, are they the perpetrators of this horrible crime?
Now, Dave Murray, you've been tracking this case as a reporter. If they don't match up to any of the DNA or any of the prints, then police are back to square one. What happened to that green box-style van that was reportedly spotted in the parking lot of the elementary school where Nevaeh was last seen? In fact, there are some of the possibilities of this van. The Sheriff's Department said they got numerous calls about green vans, which could be similar to a Chevy, Astro, or Ford Windstar.
I don't blame the cops in this, but all these leads have come down to nothing. They may never find out who did this, which I know no one wants to hear. But the green van, the silver van, the white van, no one's come forward with it. No one knows. Both these sex offenders that are back in prison now, and by the way, they're not going to be there for 13 years. They were only in prison for a year or more for the actual rape. You think they're going to keep in jail for 13 years for a parole violation?
And one of their parole is up in July.
Yeah, I bet they're out in 6 months, maybe a year, because there's a lot of media attention. They may stay in jail for a year, but they'll be out again. But the problem is, these guys have alibis. And if these guys, alibis, were no good, they would have been arrested a long time ago. The real fear that we have here, and I live in Monroe County, is that there's a sicko out there, not these guys in jail, and he may do this again.
Wow. Okay, that is scary, frightening stuff. Thank you to my excellent panel. We're going to stay on top of the story. Moving to another missing girl whose mom was cavorting with a convicted sex offender, a 3-year-old, and her mom, last seen 2 weeks ago with the mom's sex offender boyfriend. The latest on that search, and an elderly woman tased